Jeremy Pruitt is suing the NCAA for what amounted to him breaking rules that are no longer rules that are there to be broken. Let's talk about it. What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. That's something that you're into. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave me a comment below answering this question. Do you think Jeremy Pruitt has a case for a claim? Because he's looking for a lot of money. Estimated that he's lost $100 million plus since he was fired at Tennessee after, my goodness, man, what amounted to one of the last recruiting violation stories for inducements that we will probably see ever. And this is way back in 2021, okay? I say way back because we're talking about mere months before name, image, and likeness becomes the coin of the realm, right? So what he is alleging is that he's suing the NCAA subject to an unfair, wrongful, inconsistent NCAA investigation and ruling with potential career-ending penalties. This is interesting because he's not suing Tennessee. He's suing the NCAA, which is a maid service that works for its member institutions, for which one is the University of Tennessee. And the University of Tennessee has had it in with the NCAA, and it's also been, the point of some friction in regard to how the rules get enforced and taking advantage of name, image, and likeness right at the front with these deals that they were giving out, particularly one to Nico Iamaleava, with the tax that they're putting on the ticket fees that many alumni and fans of Tennessee are happy to pay to try to induce more players to come to Tennessee to build the name, image, and likeness coffers. They really wanted to play Nebraska in a couple of years. That game been canceled because Nebraska didn't want another schedule. They were expecting a lot of revenue from that in the home and home. So January, we get the allegations for improper payments to players. Tennessee cited those allegations as a reason to fire Pruitt. They fired him and did not pay him the buyout. So that's what they allege in 2023. He was handed a 6-year show cause, which is not insignificant in 2023, and he hasn't coached since then. Since then, he's also saying that Tennessee was, complicit in his firing. They were fined $8 million for his role in this thing. That's not insignificant either. And this is them participating and helping with the 18 recruiting violations that were found. And he's claiming $100 million in damages, which also is a very large number. But given Texas A&M paid Jimbo Fisher about $80 million to go away, it doesn't look that large anymore. Such is the price of playing college football at a high level, coaching at a high level. And there's some really interesting quotes in here, but I think the one that I'm going to pick out is from the suit itself, right? And this one I think is a doozy, so I'm going to read it all. That one or more of the individuals in the UT athletic department or boosters had systematically engaged in making payments to players at a time when NCAA rules did not allow such payments. It is believed persons within the UT athletic department solicited and received money from high-profile businessmen and alumni to fund the clandestine payments to the players. Jeremy was unaware of this activity during his tenure at UT. It is believed UT intentionally hid the scheme from Jeremy based on Jeremy's willingness to report violations like he did to then athletic director Phil Fulmer within his first week of coaching at UT. So, one, he's saying that boosters and other people went behind his back to pay players. Two, he did what he was supposed to do, which is be a good upstanding coach and report on, people paying players behind his back to his athletic director. And that he's being made to be the fall guy for all of this. Never mind the McDonald's bags, right? I also think this is fairly fascinating because he's also saying that the NCAA is punishing him for something that is no longer legal or illegal, And at the time of the hearing and the punishment, the NCAA knew that the rules it was purporting to enforce were effectively made invalid by the ruling of the United States Supreme Court. Jeremy Pruitt may be the last coach in America to be punished for impermissible player benefits. It's true. But the rules were what the rules were at the time that you broke the rules. And I don't see how you get around that part. Okay? You can't retroactively decide that you are not subject to those rules violations any more than we can retroactively decide that RG3 should get several $100 million from Baylor for all that he's done for winning the Heisman, or Johnny Manziel should get money for winning the Heisman. Any of these things that have happened since then. There's a whole lot of players that expected to get paid and are suing because they didn't get an opportunity to get paid while they were in college. Now that everybody can get paid that's in college. It's probably going to be the way that many people feel if and when ever college gets to be free or debt-free, student loan forgiveness becomes a thing, right? Everybody's going to try to go get theirs because this is what we do in the United States, among other things, right? We fight about everything. And the way that we love to fight about everything is our national pastime is not baseball, and as much as it's been football the last 50 years, it's not. It's suing people. It's what we do. We sue people. We try to take from them what they have because we feel ripped off or it's unfair treatment. But I do think that it's not insignificant that he got the 6-year show cause. I do think it's not insignificant that his buyout was north of $12 million at the time when he's fired. He's making $4 million a year. I do think that it's significant that he went 3-7 and that Danny White and Josh Heupel came in and turned that thing around quick, fast, and in a hurry. Not only did he have Tennessee playing at the caliber, at the level that Tennessee expects to play at, competing for the national championship, being a number 1 ranked team, being one of the better teams in the SEC, making the college football playoff. Having Hendon Hooker throw for 1 million touchdowns, Joe Milton come through and do a job, Nico Iamaleava come through and do a job, getting some great play out of guys like Dylan Sampson, producing Jamar McCoy as a Thorpe Award finalist, producing Tim Banks as a Broyles Award finalist. These are things that Jeremy Pruitt couldn't do. These are things he didn't do. Now, was the deck he was playing with different? Yeah, but it was also much easier to recruit, right? It was easy to put together a real high school football class, and you weren't having to hire a general manager to do the job that used to be the one that a recruiting director did, a recruiting coordinator. Now you've got so many more people in your front office. It's just a different sport. And while he might feel that it is unfair, that he has been maligned and his reputation has gone into the crapper because of this event, it is what it is. Like, you cannot go ahead and start changing the law or changing how we are viewing you based on what the laws are of the land. And these are the bylaws for which we all decided that, the NCAA was going to enforce until they didn't anymore. July 2021, it became a thing. And as soon as it became a thing, we've opened up this Pandora's box that has all of these unintended consequences. And now one of these unintended consequences is actually Jeremy Pruitt suing the NCAA, to which I'm sure the NCAA is like, hey, man, get in line. Like, at this point, who's not dunking on the NCAA? And that's kind of why I wanted to do this segment. It's not just to say Jeremy Pruitt is suing the NCAA for things that he actually did. It's that the NCAA has become your other favorite college football person or sports talk radio person or sports television person's favorite whoopee cushion and pin pad because it's easy. It's easy. The NCAA is a faceless entity. It's a maid service for the member institutions, though, when you should be giving all of your vitriol to the people that empower the NCAA. If you don't want the NCAA around, all these universities got to do is say, we don't want it and we want something different. We're going to put something other together. And if you can put something else other together, you should do that. They haven't. You've had James Franklin come out here and say he wants a college football czar. I don't think that's necessarily a good idea either. One person making all the decisions, not really how you get free democracy inside of anything. Dictators be bad, guys. Dictators be bad. Tyrants be bad. That's what a czar is, right? It is not a thankless position. It will be the most powerful position in all of sports that needs to be a committee. But RJ, committees don't get anything done. Yeah, they do. If you are diligent in how you have formed this committee, if you are diligent in what their responsibilities are, and you are reasonable with what you can expect them to accomplish, you can do these things. But as it is, the NCAA is the best of a bad group of options. So that's what we got. I'm tired of beating up on the NCAA because it's stupid and it's easy. Okay? You want to beat up on somebody? Beat up on the university that empowered a state attorney general to go sue the NCAA because they didn't like the rules being enforced on them. Okay? You want to get mad about this? Get mad about watching football on television because that's where this comes from, man. The money continues to go up because live sports carries, well, all media, frankly, from television on down. And as much as people want to say that they don't watch television, you watch a lot of YouTube, which is basically your version of television. The number of people that watch this show, for instance, on a mobile device versus the television has changed dramatically. The kind of person that watches this show has changed dramatically. And the things that we talk about on this show have changed dramatically. Even since I stepped into this gig, in October 2020, right? National college football analyst for Fox Sports. The job has changed. What I am asked to evaluate has changed. The emphasis on recruiting has changed. The emphasis on recruiting transfers explicitly has changed. The idea of the general manager being in here has changed. Now what Jeremy Pruitt is doing, I think, is kind of ridiculous because serve out the rest of the show cause. You're a millionaire several times over. You don't actually need the money, or you shouldn't actually need the money. In case if you do, we got some personal finance courses that you need to be taking. That's something else. But you don't actually need the money if you did this right. And then come back into the sport the way other people do, perhaps at a lower level, perhaps at the new version of the Nick Saban rehabilitation clinic, right? Or do something different and be a high school football coach forever. Or be a general manager. Jeremy Pruitt at one point was one of the better defensive minds in all of college football. We know that. The man knows ball. Was he really difficult with some players? Yeah. Did he probably engage in some activities that he did not, that he was eventually shown the door for? Probably, yeah. But one of the things that we have shown is we will let you back into the sport. You do what you're asked to do. That's all. Right now, I just think this is interesting only because we're in March. There is no football being played, and the University of Tennessee has a great football team in spite of Jeremy Pruitt. And that is what many Volunteers fans are going to say from this, as I'm sure they thumb their noses in the comments at anything that Jeremy Pruitt says he wants to get, even if it's from the NCAA and not from them, even if it means dragging them through the mud.